my scrappy friends, I wanted to do a quick tutorial to show you how to take your PNG files and make them into a cut file. I'm going to be using my own script font, and if you're interested, I can show you a separate video just kind of how to upload that to your computer so that you can get that ready. But for now, this is what I'll show you guys. And you can do this with any PNG file that you have on your computer. I tend to do this quite a bit because it's just kind of fun to make your own types of cut files. It makes it so that you can get much more use out of your silhouette. So I'm going to start off with just a empty silhouette, and I'm just right in the Silhouette Studio, and then I'm going to hit open. And what I'm going to do is go into a folder that I have on my desktop because I keep stuff on my desktop. I have a Mac, so things will be a little bit different in your own computer, however you have your folder system set up. But a PC basically will work very similar. And there are two files that I want to cut out. And there is this one that says Create Beauty, and it has some other stuff on it, but I want to use this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, that was not what I wanted to do. Okay, I want to rotate this. There we go. I guess I could have rotated it different. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I rotated this, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna cut up the part that I wanna use. So I'm gonna go into Trace, and then I'm gonna hit Select Trace Area, and then I'm just gonna go over the area that I want to make sure that I'm tracing. And I only want the Create Beauty. So I'm going to take that, and if you can't see what you're doing, you can always put that. And I'm going to make sure High Pass Filter is selected, and I'm going to bump this until everything is all in yellow. This is all the stuff that's going to get cut. Because this is a hand font that I brush script, I use black because I have found that if you use different colors, it tends to not like to pick up everything. You could put it in Photoshop and clean it up better, but I found that if you just use black, you can get a pretty good file. So then I'm just going to hit Trace, and it's going to show me what it's going to look like. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to select this, and I'm going to make this bigger because I want this to be my title. And I'm going to be putting this on white cardstock because I am going to eventually print this out and then just watercolor it. So let's make this fit the top part of my page. And I have a 12 by 12 smooth cardstock. I like to use the smooth, it cuts a lot better, in my opinion. But use the kind of cardstock that you feel comfortable using and that you like to use in your silhouette. I think every person is different, and I know that different companies have different types of so I like the way that this looks. It looks really good. The only thing that you can't see, and this is just how it ended up being when I watercolored it, is that there's no space here. Now, if I really was wanting a space there, I could take this and just go like that and create one. So there we go. Okay, so we're gonna take that and we're gonna leave that there. Now I want to bring, whoops, I want to stop that, undo edit. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in my other file because I'm gonna put this right all on one page because it just makes sense. But I'm going to have to open up something else. So I have this phrase that I also cut file, and this one is, why does it stop? I don't want that. I want this. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we're gonna take this image and we're gonna rotate this one as well. It's just gonna help me in the long run. Okay, so as you can see, I have other stuff. I don't really care that that's in there. Let's see, is this the one that I want to use, or I also have another one. So I'm just kind of figuring out which file I want to use because I have a whole bunch of different files. So I like to try things out and play around when I do brush scripts. So this is why I have a few different files, because I wasn't sure if I was gonna need to. Okay, so I really like this part and this part, right? So what I'm gonna do is go back into Trace. Actually, no, what I want to do is copy this and go into my first one. Where is it? Here it is. And hit paste and then put this here. So now I'm going to hit select trace and I'm going to, no, that's not the one I want. Okay, I'm going to hit this. And I'm not worried about anything underneath this line because I can go back in and fix that later. So this just needs to go high pass filter. It looks pretty good. I'm just gonna, yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so I'm gonna hit trace. And now as you can see, this part isn't completely, so let's go back for a second. Okay, so I could take my threshold, there we go. Okay, so all you need to do is just hit threshold and just slide it until you see all the curves just really kind of even out. You can see that. Okay, so now I'm just going to trace that, and that works really, really well. Okay, so I know I want this part as well, right? So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to hit art and do this separate, and just bump that up, bump the threshold just a smidge, trace it, hit select trace, there we go, hit high pass filter, threshold, trace. Okay, so I have all this stuff I don't need. So let's work with this. We're gonna make that smaller. So my suggestion is to just make your thing as big as you want to make your files. I mean, think about how big they are on the mat. I mean, this is a 12 by 12, so this is a little bit more than 2 inches. So I really want to make this bigger. I don't want it as big as the first thing, but I do want it big. So one thing that you can do to get all this junk that you don't have, that you don't want in there, right? So release compound path. That's going to take all this stuff, and all you need to do is go in, oops, unselect it, and then go in and just delete the sections that you know you don't want in there. This one will be a little bit difficult because it's connected. So you just want to be really, really careful. Just see how it's connected. What I might do is cut it that way and then just cut it off so I don't accidentally. I'm sure that there's a way I can fix that actually. I bet you if I go in, draw freehand, let's get in here. So all I need to do is go like, okay, go to point, I'm going to do it like that, and then I'm just going to cut it off later. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is fill that back up, hit make compound path, and that's just going to make it all together again. So that now I want to think about how the size that this is. So this is 2.7 by 8.6, and then I'm going to hit this. Okay, let's do this one first, because I know that this one and this one. Okay, so let's move this. And I'm just gonna make it so it looks okay to my eye, right? Okay, that looks pretty good. And I don't think there's anything really in there that is going to be different, but I'm going to make this art like way bigger. So we're going to bump this up and do it like that. Now, as you can see, there are some lines that are just not as clean. You could go back in and clean them up. I'm not going to do that because I'm not worried about it. I am, however, going to release the compound path and get rid of that little bit because I don't need that. And then I'm going to go in and make the compound path. So one man's trash is another's treasure or art. So that is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to go in. Everything looks pretty good. The only thing that I don't care for is this. I wonder, let's see if I can release this now, if it'll let me. No, it still wants to do that. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. I was going to see if I could re-get that out, and I probably could if I played around with it, but I'm not going to do that right now. So the next thing that I'm going to do, because everything is how I want it to be, it looks like it's going to be enough space. I mean, I could make this a little bigger, but I really want this to be my my title, and then this is just going to be like a little phrase on there. So I'm going to go up to settings, and I'm going to go to cardstock because that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go in and I have it on 4, and I'm going to have this double cut just because I'm thinking I might need it. Now, obviously this is not perfect because it's hand brushed. If you really wanted to go through and clean it up, you definitely could. I'm not that great at all that kind of stuff, and I really like the fact that it's different. So we're just going to hit send. My paper is already loaded up in the Silhouette, and so now it's just going to print that out or cut that out. The thing I would suggest is if you like your file, you can go into save as, and then you can save it as a Silhouette file so that you can come to it later, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it go to my desktop, as you can see. So it's right here, and then I'm just going to put it in my cut files folder that I have, and this just has tons of stuff that I have worked on, and I have Photoshop stuff and Silhouette stuff. So all this means is that I can just open this up and it will open it up again. So I can always come back to it and have it. So that is how you take a PNG file and then you cut it and trace it, and then you can make your own file. If you guys want to see more in-depth stuff on how to take a brush script that you did on your own, or a drawing that you made on your own and make it into a cut file, let me know, and I will be sure to do a tutorial on that as well. It's not much different than what I just showed you right now, but I can go through and actually show you how I brush script and then put it over onto the computer and how I scan it in. But I hope you have a great day, and I hope that you find this tutorial helpful. And if you have any other tutorial recommendations, leave them in the comments below, and I will try to do what I can to get that information out to you guys. Bye.